It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Let's get into our positive vibes only segment this week. Joining us on Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington, we've got Dr. Dianah Lake, a fitness and wellness coach and an emergency medicine physician that is going to share some insight with us. So, Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. I love your background, your expertise, so I'm excited to get right into it. You have 16 years of medical expertise, and you're more than just an ER doctor. You also are working hard to help, young professionals, or just professionals in general, I should say, really live a healthy, happy life. What made you and influence you to make that transition into also taking your work in the hospital, outside of it, to help as a fitness and wellness coach?
Oh, that's a great question. So I had my own journey of basically being just overwhelmed with, taking care of kids, running a household. I was married when I first started this journey, and so my story goes through that as well. So basically, I, finished med school, and I went into my medical practice, and I was overwhelmed. It was long hours. I'm sure you've heard of residents, working long hours. Even when I went into my ER, yes, and when I went into my ER practice, it was the same thing, long hours, not really having enough time for self-care and taking care of my own needs, while I was taking care of sick patients every day. But then I had, my own household to run. And as women, it's tough because we got to be moms, we got to be wives, we got to be sisters, we got to be daughters, we got to be best girlfriends. We've got to be many things
Very
to
true.
many people. And it's like, okay, when do you have time to take care of you? And so for me, the way my story goes, I lost my dad to diabetes a few years ago. And I thank you. And, I watched him for 2 weeks on life support, and I really started to think about my own health as I saw him going through that, because diabetes is a preventable disease. You really don't have to have it. It's not something that your family has to have. I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have, is that, it runs in my family, but it doesn't have to, And so going through the loss of my dad. And then, so I remember thinking about my own health and saying, okay, I need to make some changes so that I'm a healthier person. So my family is a healthier a healthier family, going through what I saw happen with my dad. And so while I'm kind of making that internal, change, I started to have some issues in my marriage, which ultimately, led to me ending my marriage. But at that time, I realized that, things weren't going well with the marriage. And at the same time, while we're going through separation, my younger son is diagnosed with autism. And so it was like, wow, just too much. Yes, it was just so much going on. I'm struggling to stay, on top of my work. My marriage is crumbling. I'm dealing with just all kinds of social media stuff within my family. All of this is going on. And then now I have to deal with, a child that has, some developmental issues. And so I wasn't taking care of me. I was just so focused on putting out fires, all over the place. And it got to a point where I just was on the floor crying, crying multiple, times a day, just really low point. And one of the moms in the mom group that I'm in, that I've been in for many years, they knew what was going on. And one of the moms was a runner. And she saw me, really in this state of just, disappointment, all of this stuff going on, self-pity. And she said to me, let's go for a run. I had never run a day in my life.
Oh, wow.
And she said, let's go for a run. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not a runner. I had always kind of gone to the gym here and there, because I knew it was good for you to do, but it was nothing I was committed to by any means. And we went for a run, and we did 2 miles. And
wow.
It was my first time. It was my first time ever running, and I loved it. Oh my God! I came home. I just felt that rush. That rush when you do some cardio, or you go out and get a run, and you just get those endorphins and all that good stuff inside of you. That feel good feeling. And I was like, oh my God, when do we go again?
Yes.
I was addicted. And, just from that first run, I realized something was missing for me, and it was fitness, and it was at the lowest point of my adult life that just came at a time that I so needed it. And fitness became my way of coping with everything that was going on. So I started running regularly. I looked forward to it. And then at that point, I think I was like maybe, 38 or 39. And I started thinking about, really getting this baby weight off of me, because I still had the baby weight from, having my 2 kids. I had both kids with C-section. And I still hadn't really gotten rid of that gut, and I really wanted to get rid of that. And so I started bodybuilding. I found a coach, and I went and I did my first bodybuilding competition, and I came 5th place for my very first time. And I just became hooked on fitness and weightlifting, nutrition, eating healthily, having the self-care, the mindfulness, like all that stuff. I just kind of picked it up along the way as I was getting myself in the best, place that I could be, so that I could be able to then share that with other people. So it was my own struggle that really led me to, becoming a fit coach, because I saw what it did for me. And I knew that I wasn't alone, and I knew that there were women out there going through very similar, challenges that would resonate with them, coming from another mom, coming from a special needs mom, coming from a working mom, coming from a professional who also owns a business, So there are many people I feel can connect with me, because they're parts of them in my story. And so that's basically the long version of what got me into fitness, was just really, trying to find a way to deal with things that were going on that weren't very easy to deal with. And it worked for me beautifully. And now I'm sharing it with other people so they can get themselves, in the best selves that they could be.
Wow, what an incredible story. I'm so thankful, that you overcame all that. So I'd like to congratulate you for that, because you went through a lot of significant life changes that, could have easily had you go in a different direction, and you bounced back from it and overcame it. So that is remarkable. Yeah. But also, because of your story, you're more than just a doctor. You're a mom. You've lost your father. You're divorced. You've lost a significant amount of weight, and so all those things allow you to now in some way relate to specifically moms if you're working with them, or any client, because there's always something that can resonate, whether it's their own issues that they've gone through in their lives. So for one, let me just backtrack. How much weight did you lose exactly? And from when to when, or I guess I should say.
So when I started, I was about 170 pounds. I'm 5'7". At the end of my pregnancy, I was 190 pounds. Normal for me. Yeah, so normal for me was about 145. So I was 190 pounds. I gained, 50 pounds during the pregnancy. And I lost some of the weight, but didn't lose all of it. And, another 20 pounds was still kind of, lingering. So I needed to lose that. But I ended up losing 30 pounds over the training for the competition. I lost 30 pounds during the training for the competition, and I was in the best physical shape at that time. But I still felt like my nutrition really needed some honing. And so I improved that after the competition and, got to where I am now. But it was
Right.
30 pounds. Lost 30 pounds. And the baby belly is gone.
Congrats on that, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it was so annoying. Oh, my gosh. It's like,
Yes.
you feel strong. You feel confident, but then that little pouch is just like looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there, and I'm so glad that, and it really affects your self-esteem when you're out and, you wear your clothing, and, a lot of women struggle with this because you want
Right.
to walk into a room and feel confident, not that you can't feel confident unless your body looks perfect, but there's just little things that are kind of a nuisance, and it's always in the back of your mind, like, it really affects how you feel. And so when I got to a point where I could actually work my way through it and actually get to that point where I had met my goal, it boosted my self-esteem, especially coming, like I said, out of a divorce, feeling down, feeling defeated. It was a huge boost for me to be able to do that and be able to show other people how to do it too.
Yeah. Now, I've never had kids, so I can't speak from personal experience, but my sister has a 20-month-old, and I know my mom talks about it. I've talked about this with many women, just going from, whatever your weight was pre-pregnancy, now you have one kid or two kids or twins or whatever the case may be, and your whole body changes through that beautiful experience of childbirth. And so you're working with women who, much like yourself, are dealing with that, and you want to be able to, strut in your bathing suit and feel cute and whatever else. So you actually have your Fit Challenge coming up, and you were on Fox 45 in Baltimore talking about that, specifically working with moms on. Well, I'll let you talk about it. What is the Fit Challenge that you have coming up?
So the Fit Challenge is called the Abs, Glutes, and Thighs Challenge. It's an 8-week challenge, and I'm focusing specifically on those areas because those are the major areas that moms and women in general struggle with. And I'm still working through my abs and my thighs and my butt and all those things. Like those areas women are always conscious about. They want to make sure that they can fit into their clothing and feel sexy. Not saying that you have to be fit to be sexy, because you really don't, but women want to feel comfortable. They don't want to be, tugging and pulling and all of this. So we're focusing on those areas so that they can tone their abs, which is a huge area for women that a lot of them struggle with. Tighten up their thighs. A lot of women, they won't even wear shorts because they don't like the way their legs look. I did another challenge that ended in June, and one of the doctors that was in the challenge for the first time in years was wearing shorts for the first time after the challenge. And it was a big deal for her. It was a big deal for her. And she said, wow, I haven't worn shorts in so long because I never liked the way my legs look. So this challenge is going to be focusing on toning the thighs, firming the butt area, flattening the abs. You're still going to have overall wellness. We're still going to have a nutritionist-approved meal plan and grocery list. I'm very much about holistic living. So in the challenge, we do stuff about mindfulness and gratitude and self-care, making that time to make your health and your wellness and your emotional well-being a priority. So all of those things are covered in the challenge, and I do 5 teaching modules where we talk about nutrition. You truly learn what macros are. You truly understand what nutrition is. We talk about weightlifting. I teach you how to lift weights. Like, what is the process? How much weight should you lift? What is too heavy? How many reps should you do? We go through the whole thing, and I do teaching sessions, and we talk about self-worth. That's another thing in the challenge that we're going to be talking about. A lot of women don't feel worthy to be fit. They really don't.
Wow.
And so they self-sabotage because they don't feel that they deserve it. And so that's the whole mindset shift that needs to happen so that they truly believe in themselves. Then the work is not as hard to do when you believe that you can achieve it. So all of these things are going to be in the challenge, and it's an 8-week challenge, and we're going to be starting in a couple of weeks. I'm actually launching the challenge today. And so, for the next couple of weeks, it'll be on my website where people can register for it. And we're going to have a supportive private group where it will just be women supporting women in the group who are registered for the challenge. And I'll be in there doing workouts with them, pushing them, and making sure they're not walking through this challenge. They're bulldozing through it.
Yes, I love it.
They're crushing their goals. And they're coming out on the other side feeling strong, confident, sexy, and that weight will be gone, and they can move into any space, in their full self, not feeling small. And that's really my goal, is to have women move around in the world feeling their very best.
Yes, I love it, and that's the thing. I mean, there's no perfect size. There's no perfect weight, perfect height. Everybody has something that on their body they don't like. And it's a great, or it's great for you, to be working with them to feel beautiful and to feel, like they can feel empowered and feel accomplished and feel like, I can do something. So yes. I love that you've been referred to as a combination of Dr. Oz and Jillian Michaels. You provide the nutrition side, the disease prevention, the fitness that like a Jillian Michaels to be able to sculpt your body to whatever you want it to be. And whatever your fitness goals are. So where can people follow you? You talk about your website. You're on social media. What are your handles and your website so that people can follow along if they want to get involved as well?
So it's Dr. Di Fit Life. So my name is Dianah. So a lot of my friends call me Di. So that's where the Dr. Di came from. So it's Dr. Di Fit Life, DrDiFitLife.com. There's the website, and it's the same handle for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I also have a free fitness accountability group, and when people go on my Facebook page, they'll see the link to join the fitness accountability group there as well. It's called Fit Boss Culture Club, and the link is right on my Dr. Di Fit Life Facebook page. When they go on the Facebook page, they can join the group, and the group is women only, because I really feel that we can support each other better when it's just us. It's not meant to keep the guys out, but, there are things that we talk about when it's just us that, we feel comfortable talking about when it's just us. And so right. It's been a very supportive group. A lot of the women in there are constantly posting their new goals, and we help them, to reach it.
Wow, that's incredible. So, guys, definitely be sure to go check out DrDiFitLife.com and the Facebook group Fit Boss Culture Club. I love that. As a women empowerment group and support group.
Yes,
that is tremendous. Yes. You are doing great things. I love it.
Thank you so much
you're
for
all
having
over.
me.
I don't know how you have the time. You have 2 kids. You're a working mom. You're an ER doctor, and you're also helping inspire women. So thank you so much for joining us on our Positive Vibe Only segment this week, Dr. Dianah Lake. Di. I call my best friend Di, too. Her name's also Dianah.
Yes, everyone calls me Di.
Yes,
but
Dr.
Thank you
Di.
so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.